Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule RoundTable. It's our 1-year anniversary special, and we're very happy about that. Chelsea's showing us something cool. Go ahead, Chelsea. What is it?
It's this t-shirt I found at a flea market. I guess it was from the 90s.
It does look like from the 90s.
Yeah, but it has literally
The tag is still on it.
Yeah, what's the tag say?
And look at what this tag is.
Blockbuster Video.
Wow.
You know that
So
was
it's-
1995 at least.
Well,
So it's probably
yeah.
before Voyager
It
came out.
actually does.
yeah,
say
it's
that
93 or 94 because Cisco has hair and
how
there's
much is
no
it?
Janeway.
The tag now is worth more than the shirt.
I know.
I can't read it.
So we are here with Chelsea, Homer, Anne-Marie, John Tufarella, and of course, very special guest, Jared Cooper.
Jared.
So Jared's back because he was instrumental in getting this whole thing started 1 year ago.
Yes, he was.
Before we get into that, though, let's do a quick toast to our superstar of superstars, Mr. Aron Eisenberg, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
I got myself some root beer, but not just any root beer. It's
LaCroix.
Sioux City Sarsaparilla, which is
no.
the granddaddy of all
Wow.
root beers.
Not
Saved
LaCroix.
for a special
That's
occasion.
like fistful of data is root beer.
Nice. So to Aron Eisenberg, one of the greatest people we've ever known, one of the coolest guys on TV and off. He made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives, whether they knew him or didn't. Thank you, Aron.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. For my orange buddy, I will eat an orange.
Oh, nice.
Aw.
Is it delicious and hilarious?
It's hilarious, delicious, and loves Michael Chiklis.
Damn that orange.
You don't know what you're missing.
That's a great picture of Aron in the background. He's just all cocked up. He's fully cocked. He's ready to laugh.
Yeah, I think he's mid-laugh,
belly.
and I think
Yeah.
it's when there are about 15 or 20 people that invaded the show for the 25th show.
Aw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Homer was saying that is from when we pranked you guys, Sirach and Aron, and everybody showed up while Aron was trying desperately to finish his thought.
Oh, yeah. He was. That's right. He was trying to get out this really good thought, and then it just kept getting these interruptions, and he really likes to be on a schedule and things of that nature. So
I watched
funny.
that part like 20 times, and I can do a perfect impression of what Aron was doing at that moment where I was dying. He was going, and
what's going on?
And he just kept trying to finish his statement, but he couldn't do it because everyone just kept popping up left and right. And Sirach was just playing it cool, like, whatever.
Something was going to happen.
So let's go around and say a few words about Aron. We'll start with you, Homer, since you're our guy.
Since you got the jacket on.
Yeah, so I'm glad that the Seventh Rule is here celebrating 1 year, and I credit Aron with setting it up, kicking it off, and inspiring all of the enthusiasm for it. I'm glad it's still going. He inspires me so much. I got gloves that I never would have worn many decades ago, let alone say 3, 4, 5 years ago. Yeah, and it's also, I think of one thing in particular, well, lots of things, but one in particular comes to mind right now, which is just, it's all about, it's okay if you disagree with someone, but you have to listen to what they say, take that in, and be willing to be changed if it makes sense to you. So it's all about being a good listener and then, not just shutting people out, but hearing them out first.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Totally. He did always say that, just you got to listen in. He always respected the people that, especially online, he would start little fires, political fires here and there, but he would never take it personally if somebody disagreed with him. He'd just say, "Oh no, let him speak. Let's hear what they have to say." Jared,
You know, I'm sitting here.
You have the unique perspective of having worked with Aron well before the seventh rule.
Yep.
Tell us whatever the hell you want to tell us about him.
Well, I remember that time a year ago, because the seventh rule really, I would say it started just before Christmas.
Yeah.
Because that's when the hundreds of phone calls every day started, because we had finished with the Alpha Quadrant and we were done. Everything was going to be fine. And then Russ said, hey, come to Odyssey. And then there were these hundreds of should we, shouldn't we? And it was on January 10th that we actually had me, Aron, and Russ sat down and had the first production meeting of the seventh rule.
Mm.
And it's just that whenever I think about that time, I just think about these constant should we, shouldn't we, hyper analytical phone calls from Aron about everything that could go wrong. You know, how would Evil Dick feel that we were leaving from the Alpha Quadrant and doing our own thing? So yeah, that's when I think back on that.
Sounds like a great guy.
Yeah.
I meant the Evil Dick guy.
Yeah. So yeah, when I think back about that time, that's what I remember is the incessant phone calls. Do we, don't we?
That's our Aron. And Russ said he couldn't make it today, but he was definitely invited. He's out in Ohio, and you know how it is in Ohio. They just, I don't know where I'm going with that. But
Probably lots of snow.
how is Aron on Alpha Quadrant? I mean, did you know him before Alpha Quadrant, or is that where you met him?
No, I knew him like before the Alpha Quadrant from like the convention world, because he did one or two events that I put on. And then I got brought into the Alpha Quadrant as computer. And he was the same way on Alpha Quadrant. He was very, I'm trying to figure, political on the Alpha Quadrant, but political in a not wanting to piss people off way, not in a running for president way. So on the seventh rule, you saw a little bit more of him than you would have gotten on the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah, I remember that time you're talking about, like the Christmas and Decembers, because I was having those conversations with myself in my own head, saying, should I do this? Shouldn't I? I was really busy. I had a lot of stuff going on, and and then, but of course, Aron was like, "Hey, Ciroc's on board, and Ciroc's a good friend, and it was a perfect match." Jake and Nog. I really couldn't find any reason not to do it because, yeah, Jake and Nog are back. So, Russ Hasledge is a very well-connected and great fellow. I'd never heard of this Jared guy, but I knew, he exists. So that's a thing, right? And
no, but nobody has. I remember the phone calls when Russ talked to us and Aron was like, who should I get? Ciroc was the first word out of my mouth. And I was like,
oh, really?
And Aron would say, well, what about this person and that person? And I was like, you just need to stop and shut up because it's going to be Ciroc. Call him and get it over with.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Ciroc?
I feel honored to be, part of this program and be part of the family, the Seventh Rule family. It's interesting because when we're talking about Aron, I just think about how meticulous he was and how thoughtful he was about the process. And he was always going over things in his head and going over them. And what about this? But what about that? He was so really invested in doing the work. And it just reminds me of how he approached, Nog, the character of Nog. He was the same way about it, as far as over and over, repeating it, getting into it, feeling it out. I don't know, maybe like this. So he was always, that's just how he approached life in general. He was just really meticulous, always going over things in his head. Just feels like that's who Aron was,
And, for obvious reasons, Jared and Aron, obviously your instincts were correct that Jake and Nog, as soon as I heard that, as soon as everybody heard that, we're like, oh my God, that is such an obvious, perfect match and a perfect choice. But what a lot of us didn't also know was just how great Ciroc happens to be at this kind of stuff. So I want to personally commend you, Ciroc, because you're always very thoughtful. You're always, well thought out. You usually laugh at my dumb jokes, and you always a lot of great perspectives to add to it. So, I mean, that's all you know, and I just want to point that out.
Don't forget the doodles.
There's been more than one time where Russ has called me about Sirach and said, "Did you hear him talk about this? I wish we could let him talk for an hour about this, about some insight or something into it."
That's great to hear, and I appreciate you guys so much, especially coming from all of you that know so much about Star Trek. I feel like I'm the one who knows the least about everything.
That's what's so fun about it, is that's why we love watching you watching Star Trek for the first time. There's nothing a fan likes more than to watch somebody watching Star Trek for the first time, right? Now, add to that if it's an actual Star Trek actor, and it's just like, as the French say, it's a nerdgasm.
Didn't have to laugh at that one.
Well,
that was genuine. That was a genuine laugh.
Anne Marie likes that.
Homer, stone-faced.
Not a fan of that one.
Let's talk to Mr. John Tufarella, because I believe you knew Aron before we started doing the Seventh Rule too, right?
I did. I met Aron. I was friends with him on Facebook prior to actually meeting him in person. But came out SDLV a couple years back with JG. Got to meet Aron. Sirach, I met you for the first time there. It was real brief. But it wasn't until later on I started conversing with Aron back and forth via, Facebook. He had a lot of questions about the gaming world, running Kazon, so he's always curious about that. He talked about wanting to get groups together online to play games, and so on and so forth. So I would throw up, like, when I did my business cards, I'd throw him up, like, a picture of the design or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, do this, and then, put this information on there and make sure you have this, and that looks good," and he would, like, help me try to do that kind of stuff. And he went above and beyond trying to actually assist people. There's an old saying that you never want to meet your heroes because they'll always disappoint you. That saying could not be more wrong, because just about everybody that ever has been on Star Trek has been a hero to me since I was little growing up.
And they're all
great. None of them have disappointed me. And Aron was just exceptional. And through Aron, I've gotten to, become friends with, all of you. We do the podcast, we, chat, whether it's online or we meet up in person. So, I mean, I wouldn't have the friend pool that I have if not for Aron. So that's something I can never truly repay to him. But it means the world.
Also, real quick, I see Dungeons and Dragons behind you.
You do.
Wow. Everybody at home, John runs a comics and cards, sorry, a games and comics store called Kazon Cards and
Games.
And that is where in New York?
Candor, New York.
Got it. Had Aron never got a chance to go visit you guys down there, right?
He did not.
He would have loved
literally the day before he passed. He was chatting with me about coming out here. Yeah, so that was especially rough. But I know there is some talk. Heather and I have been talking about, convention here. I know we've thrown some ideas at you.
Right.
I got some stuff to plan out here with as far as purchasing buildings go before I can finalize any plan going forward. But yeah, I have a little Candor Con or Kazon Con or something out here, and see if we can get as many
That's great.
guys out here as we can.
Gosh, it's gonna be all season 1 Voyager fans.
In the fall, right? Somewhere around September-ish or October-ish.
Lots of people with bad hair.
Mm-hmm. The worse hair, the better.
Yeah.
What about you, Chelsea? I know you've been a good pal with Aron for quite some time. I don't remember when you met him though.
9 years ago I met him.
Well, I was friends on Facebook with him, and then when I moved to California, we became in real life friends, and he's like a big brother to me. And what's funny is that, like, he always messes with people, and I think it throws some people off at first, but, like, he's just, like, messing around. And he's always gone like out of his way to help people and never asked for stuff in return. Like when I couldn't go home for Christmas last year because I couldn't afford it, I spent Christmas with him in Malia's house. So like, and you guys, I had my septum repaired, but he's just like always helping people.
Yeah.
And
that does remind me, Jared, during the Alpha Quadrant, didn't he order you pizza one time?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I mean, it was literally he knew we were recording, had pizza sent to my house just so that my dogs would go ballistic.
Love that.
Wow.
Was the pizza good?
Yeah, it was fine.
Well, then all's well that ends well.
I'm surprised you got somebody.
Is that like Aaron? Is that like Aaron's version of swatting or something?
Yes. That's exactly it.
Of what?
Of swatting. Swatting is a game term. Basically, you have some of these teenagers online that get their jollies off by sending the SWAT team to people's houses while they're doing live streams of gaming.
Oh, that's funny. That's right. I'd heard about that. That's right.
Yeah.
That's called swatting?
Swatting, yeah.
Yeah, pizza's definitely better.
You can get out of trouble for doing that.
Yeah.
It's about as bad as doxing somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anne Marie, tell us about your friend Aron.
Where to start? Unfortunately, I didn't know him for very long, but like the second I saw that Jake and Nog had a podcast, before I even opened it up for the first time to listen, I became a Patreon because I was like, this is going to be amazing, like pure gold. And it definitely was. And it was really special, like getting the message, like Aron Eisenberg is welcoming you to the No J Consortium. And I was like, oh my God, screenshot. I got a message from Aron Eisenberg.
Actually, the four of you, Anne Marie, Chelsea, John, and Homer, you guys were like some of our very, very first patrons and supporters, right? Like you guys were all basically like in January and February from the very get-go.
I was April. I was super slow.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. It took me a while. I mean, just took me a long time to Google Aron Eisenberg and then find it. wait.
Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron.
No, messed up now. Aaron.
You can adjust the light of your laptop. It's fine.
I can't.
Yeah. Oh.
This is as bright as it goes. Wait, but I think I sent a present for the first anniversary.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Because it's not an official podcast unless your fans send you junk in the mail.
Whoa.
So I had to go. I also lost my eBay virginity and found something vintage from 1994.
Oh
my God.
That was a nice reaction, Ryan.
Hopefully they still work.
I practiced them.
What did you find?
Get excited. First of all, there's not that much Deep Space Nine merchandise out there, unfortunately. But these are vintage in-package Hallmark stickers.
Yep.
But here's the sad part. So they're for kids, but they replaced Jake with Morn, the barfly, even though they're kid stickers. But the picture of Morn is like pretty priceless. It's definitely an airbrushed face.
Wow.
Those came out about the same time as the marbles.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So
what marbles are we talking about?
There was Deep Space Nine marbles that got released.
They look a lot like that.
Yeah.
How fun, really? That's
marbles?
Marbles.
But Ryan, you have to share them with The Rock.
I'll send you
images inside of them?
Yes.
Yeah, they look like the images on the stickers.
Wow, those images.
But I was like, I don't know what you do with marbles, so I'll get you guys stickers. It's less clutter.
Rock, if we split these 8 stickers, which
they're 4 sheets. They're 4
which
sheets.
Which 4?
Yeah.
No, I think they're 4 sheets. So, like,
are there different pictures in each one, or is they all the same?
So, like, Sirach's daughter's gonna need a sheet, because kids love stickers.
But is each sheet the same as this?
I think so. That's what I like Googled it, and that's what people who have websites devoted to Hallmark stickers in the 90s said.
You ruined our fun, Anne Marie. I wanted Sirach to have
see if they even stick.
Hey,
You wanted me to
That would've been
choose?
fun.
Rex A. Wood has joined us.
Oh, nice background, Ron.
All right.
How you doing,
See if they
Rex?
stick still.
Oh yeah. Whoa, I'm wearing the glasses in that shot.
Yeah, I am. I added your sunglasses.
Nice. Those are nice.
I think you enjoy that.
I like that.
Hey, Ann, I just want to tell you one thing.
That's
I'm
really
not very good
cool.
at doing two things at once. So just now when I used the scissors to open this, I just
You did not
cut my earphones. So that's why
No.
I went to close this thing and then I just
sorry.
literally cut my 49er earphones. I really hope that's not a bad.
Oh, that's a not
Wow.
a good.
An hour before the game, I cut my
Damn.
49er earphones that I use every day.
And now if they lose, we are going to put this everywhere so they know it
Oh my
was
gosh,
your fault.
these stickers are getting
It's
so
his fault,
expensive.
exactly.
And if they
Wow.
win, you know it's time for Bluetooth.
You're going to have the whole team knocking on your door if they lose.
Oh man,
They're going to
that's
say,
not
for
good.
some reason, the quarterback today fell down and broke his ankle.
I
right
think
at
they'll
the
win.
same time that you cut your headphones.
Sorry.
Oh god, that's not good at all, buddy.
Wait, now I have to find you
No,
these 9 headphones.
Jeez.
And it was just clean off, just one.
Yeah.
Those are some sharp
Yeah.
scissors.
Good thing you weren't taking a piss at the same time.
Nope.
Oh my God, right?
Why? What do you mean?
That is
I don't
Where
know
did you
why
get
you
that?
would ever use scissors while you're in that engaged in that
Did you
activity.
get that one?
Yeah,
You
I
guys
heard
made me
you.
laugh at
I
a
heard you,
homer.
and I
Yeah.
visualized and winced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better the headphones.
That's
I thought
about
you were going
right.
to tell me you cut
Yeah.
your finger.
You can edit that part out, Ryan.
Oh, Mr. Rex Wood got us some awesome flyers too. Check.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
Producer.
They're like Super Bowl
Fan
tickets.
sunglasses.
Dope.
There you go.
Nice.
Super Bowl ticket.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
tickets. Apparently, I won't be needing those.
Oh.
They're gonna win. I think.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
So,
Do you have,
Rex,
do you have a backup
we're talking
spare?
about- since it's our 1-year anniversary, Rex, we're talking about
Yes.
Aron Eisenberg, since he kind of got this whole thing started with the help of
Sure.
Eric Cooper, Russ
Yeah.
Haslage.
Mhm.
Say a few words about Aron, what you know
Sure.
about him, if you ever met him.
Well, I never got to meet him in person, but we talked quite a bit.
Sure.
Which is really good because those are the things that he was really good at, keeping track of people, even people that he didn't meet in person, but people that he talked to. We had some great conversations about my leg issues. That's the big key reason why I basically just enjoyed Aron so much, is because of the the one episode, of course, that we all talk about. But he actually, talked to me a lot about, my experiences with that. He wanted to know a lot. He always would ask me about, the phantom pains and the things that went along with it. It was really, he was really empathetic about it. I think a lot of it because of his own medical issues that he had. He understood a lot of the things that I had been going through. But then just the whole role that he did in that. He was just so thoughtful about all that stuff. I think he was really thoughtful with a lot of people that had illnesses, that may have had chronic illnesses over time, that he was so empathetic because of his own problems. So just what a fantastic person. That's all I can really say. I miss him being out there every day, just like everybody else does. I miss his tweets. I miss everything that he did on a daily basis. So, but he was awesome. So yeah, this whole thing, I didn't come in right at the 1 year. I started a little bit later within the year, and I'm so glad that I found it. I'm so glad that I found this podcast, because we've had nothing but fun. We had nothing but fun with Aron at the same time too. So yeah, I am still super pumped about knowing the man, and I still know he's out there in spirit with each and every one of us. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
We're really glad you found us too, Rex. You've been amazing. Look at, he's getting postcards. He's spreading the word at conventions. He's been really, really great for us. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Rex.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I miss Aron so much.
What'd you say, Chelsea?
I miss Aron so much.
Yeah. Chelsea, you are the most visually affected by it when I saw you at the funeral. I was like, wow, Chelsea is devastated. He made me really understand how he was affecting people and how close he got to people.
Yeah, and I had a kind of embarrassed about it now, but I had an anxiety attack there. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. It was a lot of emotions, and it was understandable.
Yeah, and Hannah was like the one who was comforting me.
Yeah.
Hot take. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a rough.
Well, that was a rough time, but that was one of the things that we all have in common. Really, is that Aron just kind of brought us all together, and we have this love for him. That's one of the things that he's just going to always be known for, as being somebody who built personal relationships with people. And I know that I feel like my relationship with him is as genuine as anybody else I've ever had a good relationship with. And that's what I feel is important about his legacy, is how genuine he was, how straight up front he was, not really to hurt people, but to just laugh with people and get a better understanding of people, and for them to get a better understanding of himself. That's one of the great things that he's going to leave us with. And, we try to all do better because of him.
Definitely. So we've only got a couple minutes left before we have to run. So before we go, let's all go around and say the thing that Aron did that made us laugh the hardest. I'm going to start with either Jared or Homer, since they never laugh. I guess I'll start with Jared. What's the thing that made you laugh the hardest that Aron did?
I would say I would start laughing when I got off of the phone for the 5th time with the same question. Does that make sense?
That's our Aron, yeah.
He would call and ask something, and we'd talk through it, and then he'd call back and ask the same thing and talk through it. And by the time I was hanging up 4 and 5 times, yeah, that would be it for me.
What about you, Homer?
I think it's not a specific incident, but it's more that his laughter was so genuine that I would be listening to the podcast on the subway, and I would break out laughing and think that people thought I was insane. So that happened a few times.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
What about you, Chelsea?
Maybe the story he told me of when he accidentally ran over his mother.
That's hilarious.
What? I never heard that story.
Could be.
He accidentally ran over his mother? I never heard this story. Yeah. No, I've never heard this story.
She was fine, FYI.
Okay. Okay, good.
What about you, Anne-Marie? Anything like that happen to me?
So I'm really into Aron jokes that can continue making me laugh for forever. So one of them is that Aron used to always use like 7 emojis of that like emoji with the slanted eyes that are crying, laughing. So now Homer started using that emoji like 7 times, and it's hilarious seeing Homer use that emoji like period. But when he like busted out 7 times in a row, I like can't help but laugh out loud. And how much Aron would love seeing Homer use it.
Yeah, Homer started doing that, recently. And now when he does it, it gives me this little flashback. When I see the 7 tilted, laughing, crying emoji, it almost grabs me like, oh shit, I'm talking to Aron again for a second.
It's
so
funny.
at home, whenever you do the 7 times, because it was always 7, like the 7th rule, coincidence or not. It's that laughing, crying emoji with the tilted head, right?
That like nobody else ever uses.
Yeah, I would have never started using it otherwise.
I never did either.
Yeah.
That's
so Aaron's got that's his signature.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
Well, Homer's gonna roll his eyes and probably slap me next time he sees me. But he was present for it. Ryan, you were present. I believe Sirach, you were as well. Faux Schnitzel.
Oh yeah.
I roll Central.
Oh yeah, I roll Central.
Ryan loves that one.
That joke he made out there at SDLV, and he could not contain himself.
That I fell for like a total idiot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, you were there for that too. He laughed for probably a good 20 minutes, and as soon as he'd think about it again and catch his breath, he'd start laughing again.
You'd laugh again.
So you're saying that Aaron cracked himself up?
He cracked a lot of people up, but there was definitely a lot of eye rolls as well.
No, I'm just joking because he loved to crack himself up, and that would
loved cracking himself up. Yeah,
right? Brock, you know all about that.
Yeah, I do. That's my favorite. Is just when he would crack himself up, I would laugh. The best is when he would get me on the middle finger game, and he would say, "I got you," and I deny that he got me.
I saw him do that to you.
But he'd laugh so hard because he knew he got me, and he was just so tickled by it. And the more I resisted, the more he would laugh. So it was a perfect combination.
That is perfect. And what about you, Mr. Rex A. Wood?
Probably not exactly. I can tell you the time that I probably laughed the most is the time that when you did the Facebook Live and all three of you were together. And probably I laughed so hard, especially when Sirach started talking about Facebook and going, this is so cool. All these people from around the world. Wow, this is so cool. And Aaron's sitting there, they've only had this for how long? And that was probably one of the best times was during that Facebook Live that unfortunately it was at your expense, Rock, but it was hilarious about the whole Facebook thing. It's like, wow, this is cool. All these people come together and wow, I can talk to people all over the world. And it's like everybody's kind of going, yeah, duh.
It's called the internet.
Exactly. It's called the internet.
The interwebs nationwide.
That's got to be one of the best times I can remember. Absolutely. Yeah.
That was a fun day.
I think that's everybody. For me, he made me laugh very hard many times, almost every time it was during this show. I think the one that I laughed the most, the gift that keeps on giving, is when Heather's microphone kept farting on us. And then like Aaron's eyes, you'd see him and you could tell the second he would look over at me to be like, did you hear that? Because he'd be listening to her and you hear it and you go, both of our eyes, if you watch that video again, both of our eyes, we look at each other and then we're just like 2 9-year-olds in elementary school, and the teacher needs to separate us because we just couldn't stop laughing. So that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Just not, even when I watch that, 20, 30, 40 times over, I just can't stop laughing. Good time.
Did Anne-Marie go?
Yeah, mine's the emojis.
Oh, yeah, the emojis. Yeah.
I mean, obviously also Michael Chiklis and watching Ryan roll his eyes when Michael Chiklis comes up.
Michael Chiklis.
John, do you have a copy of Deep Space Nine Flux in your store?
I do not.
I remember.
I'm looking at getting one.
Well, here's a story not a lot of you guys hear. Me and Aaron were together at a convention last February in Pensacola with the Loonies who designed that game. And Nog wasn't in it. He was going to be a promo character that you got for doing tournaments or whatever. He went off on Andy Looney from Looney Labs so much that they kicked Esri out of the game and put Nog in it.
Oh, no.
So that's why when you buy it, Esri's not in it. You have to get.
Damn.
That sure sounds like our Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right, guys, we got to run. But thank
Thanks
you
for
so much
having
for joining
us.
us for the roundtable. Thanks for supporting us for
Happy anniversary, 7th rule, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, enjoy your stickers.
Thank you, and to Aaron.
Aaron.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Aaron.
To Aaron.
And for those of you at home, always remember the 7th rule.